Gaskins, and Bill asked me to be MC this morning and kind of set the stage for our speaker. I've been involved in YBL for almost 10 years, and I started right here in this very room when Coach Joe Gibbs, who obviously most of you know him from the Super Bowl winning coach and his race car driving ownership experiences, but he was in this room, and for the life of me, I cannot remember who invited me to that. So if one of you guys did, please come up afterwards and tell me, so that I can give you a hug and say thanks for exposing me to YBL. But just like you, I'm sitting here, and I'm just a regular guy, a middle manager fella that's out there trying to make a living, to circumvent the corporate cuts that might be going on, be a good dad, be a good father. And unfortunately, I don't know about you, but I don't do a very good job in that arena very often. But at the same time, I knew that I had just come back to Birmingham from being in Ohio for a couple of years. I went up north, got a corporate transfer, very different world, but welcome to come back to the South, but knew that I needed a sphere of influence around me to be positive. So that was the genesis of me being invited to this banquet. And from then, and you'll hear about that a little bit later as Phil talks, part of the mentoring and opportunities that we have in discipleship groups, I joined what we call a comm study, which is concentrating on the majors. You have the ability to learn a little bit about the faith, Judeo-Christian faith, some of the key tenets and key points of that. So I took that course with Phil leading it, and then we broke off in a small group. And there's still 4 of us today, about 9 years later, that are still meeting. We're a pretty eclectic group. There's a Presbyterian, a Catholic, a Southern Baptist, and me, the non-denominational guy. We sometimes joke that we need a Methodist and an Episcopalian around us right now. But obviously, it's some spirited conversations, and we've shared all kinds of life together, and spiritual and moral failures to, births of grandchildren, and business successes, and business flows, and all those things. And I can't tell you how much it's meant to have those guys in my life, and to know that I've got guys that I can pick up the phone, fire off a text or an email that can give me a word of wisdom, to pick me up or to kind of point me in the right direction. And I'll tell you, without that mentorship and accountability and that discipleship piece, regardless of the studies that we do, those conversations are very instrumental in who I am. I would encourage you to ask questions of whoever invited you this morning, perhaps, or grab me or one of the guys with the tag that say they're a board member. We'd be more than happy to talk to you a little bit more about YBL and what it does out here in the marketplace. But before we get going, I want to bring up Mr. Cabinets here just a second. Let me introduce him, and we know that you've got some precious things to be doing this morning on a Friday morning, so we appreciate your time coming out this morning. But our speaker this morning is William Cabinets, Ambassador Cabinets, Representative Cabinets. He told me to just say Bill, and to be a little casual this morning. But Bill is an Alabama native, a Vanderbilt grad, an Army officer, husband to Catherine, a business owner, state representative, state senator, United States ambassador. What a list, huh? He was a United States ambassador to Prague, Czech Republic, and he and I were speaking just a minute ago, and I actually spent 2 weeks in Prague, Czech Republic in the spring of 2005. Us Alabama boys, we didn't run into each other, unfortunately. I took several strolls across the Charles Bridge, and wish we had the opportunity to do that. But very much like YBL strives to make a difference in the marketplace, in the business community, that's what drove Bill to get into the politics arena, is to impact the power of ethics reform in the way that our government put together, but also to improve the business climate, to make it a little more friendly for businesses to come to Alabama. During the time of his leadership in state government, that's when a lot of things happened in the business climate that allowed us to bring Mercedes here. And obviously we know the trickle-down effect of that of all the automotive industries that's come here. But one thing I left off my original list of titles that Bill has is Man of Faith and Christ Follower. So this morning we're going to hear a little bit about how faith has intersected his world in the politics side and in the business world. So join me in welcoming him this morning to talk to us for a few minutes.